Hi everybody, this is Taufik bringing you chapters 20 and 20X of my Cerulean Crescent 100% growth LTC. It's time for the most iconic Cerulean Crescent map objective, Kidnap Child. Basically, we need to kill an enemy who's carrying an NPC, rescue said NPC, and carry her to the escape point, with everybody else escaping as well. The Cannibal's quest from 17X also plays out on this map, with us getting a chance to escort out even more NPCs. Minimum deployment and a split army reduces our ability to cheese this map, but we'll still be resorting to a little cheese, and you might be able to already guess the form when you notice the top right has a bunch of flyers deployed. We need to promote Francisca for this strategy to have 8 move and be a smiter with 8 move. We only underdeploy by 1 this time, which is a refreshing change of pace. The top right has a bunch of flyers, and the plan for them is to simply fly over to the escape point in the top left. The other slots go to utility units who can help move the flyers over the extra squares they need to actually reach the escape point in time. We need to advance 3 flyers about 4 to 5 squares forward, and Mince and Lilac 2 will cover 2 of them. For the third one, we will rely on Smite, Shove, and Plucker's Gift to make up the squares, though Plucker's Gift is currently on Dune, who's on the opposite corner of the map. Lidros is the sole unit who will be going down to the bottom right exit. Many of the units here are asleep and inactive for turn 1, which is more than enough leeway for us. Visiting that house will get 2 of the NPC wagons out onto the field. Ellery and Oriana will be performing the final forced marches of the run, for this is the last map of Act 2, and after this our party will split in 2 for all of Act 3. The stunt we pulled with Chickson has deeply divided our crew, with most applauding Ellery's understanding of the implications of the rule set that she's operating under, but some are troubled that LTCing isn't what they imagined it to be. Wisp is brought in the bottom left because she can conveniently grab the Fancy Stabber from the inaccessible inn to the left. With an attack boost, Gecko can cleanly wander on the boss Segurides with the frying pan. Segurides actually has a couple of contraptions negating crits. This is a sign of things to come. There'll be several elite enemies we will see in part 3 who have crit negating holdable items to make them a bit tougher to deal with. Killing Segurides will drop our target, Florite, onto the field, and Oriana will pick her up soon enough. Gecko's second action goes to getting the final wagon out onto the field for Riker to pick up. And now it's Dune time. She has the Plucker's Gift and will zoom over to the right side of the map. She performs a flag warp off of this enemy to grab a convenient item before she refills her health at the ley line. Our positioning here works out just right, so that only Gecko will be exposed to the 2 remaining enemies over there who are actually awake. Dune flies to safety with the wagon, but she will have an epic turn too, never fear. The last of the NPC wagons we must unfortunately sacrifice since we did not have any way of carrying it out. That enemy has a Lance Reaver, and Riker not killing him simplifies the movement on the next turn. Getting 2 wagons out without this happening would need some retooling of the strategy. The red wagons near Lundros all drop gold weapons. Wisp exactly hits level 15, the threshold we prefer to not exceed on her. We had Arsteel be in the front over there so he could bait over and dispatch this boss. Time for Dune to flex her mobility again. She uses the ley line to refill on HP and give herself the attack boost. That lets her one-round this wagon even while carrying a wagon of her own, getting us the gold lance. With a flat warp. She will then double time over to the exit, trading over Plucker's gift to Kalugo, who still needs 2 extra squares to make it there. All the enemies are awake now that it's turn 2, but the enemies should know by now how much Ellery and the crew can achieve in just a turn. We'll clean up and we'll finish chapter 20 in 2 turns. We get a couple of items worth 1500 gold when sold at the end for retrieving 2 of the merchants. Well, interlude time. There's a long pause at the start because at this point all of our units who are below level 15 get auto-leveled to level 15, which of course works with 100% growths. This is the reason why a lot of units weren't really worth training. For example, a future optional chapter requires Vermilion to reach level 17 to unlock, but there's no point doing anything about it before he gets auto-leveled to level 15 since he obviously isn't going to be able to get past that threshold at LTC pace. This auto-leveling causes Krynia and Kulon to promote. Krynia actually has pretty decent stats, especially given her defense negating PRF and of course wields lances, but sadly there just isn't anything for her to do. Kulon gains a point of movement and has some perfectly solid stats thanks to 100% growths now. Kulon is unique in that she will be available on both routes for story reasons, at least prior to the endgame maps. Since we won't be able to access the inventories of the opposite route when we're in preps for a given chapter, Kulon is the one unit who can use resources without worrying about wanting to deposit them in the convoy for the opposite party to use. She'll make use of this perk exactly once. We've gathered a lot of craft until now, and inventory management is going to be a bit of a pain if we have to deal with all of this. As such, we will go on a mass selling spree of all our useless gear and items. You might have thought earlier that the inflated prices meant that money was tight for most of the adventure, but after this you'll see just how much money we've been sitting on. This is the final coffee of the run. We just get it for free for making it this far. Over here, we meet the chaps we invested 5,000 gold in, and while they don't have the throwing sword they promised us, they do get us a set of ranged weaponry for less than market rate. By taking the secret passage, we can make it over to the left where we can pick off this spy and grab some rare ore. We have to do this before visiting any of the submaps of this interlude or he'll run away. In the end, we have the option of paying 10,000 gold, which will get us a bunch of stat boosters to add to our ever-growing horde. And here we have the man of the hour, Gil Goldfist. He is the mutually exclusive unit with Chickson we alluded to in the past, and since we kept him safe in chapter 15 and Chickson is currently out of the squad, he'll step up to become Chickson's wielder with access to the same PRFs. He's absolutely terrible at this point, especially given everybody else auto level to level 15, but his existence is what let us perform that chapter 19 strategy to save a turn. We had to burn some RNs to kill the thief, so we can't use the same RN seed to win at chicken dice. This time we burn a few RNs to get a seed where we can just keep rolling until we achieve victory. The bet is twice as high this time. This basement is also where Ellery can purchase body modifications. Murky catalogs are options here, and we will choose to cap out our magic at the cost of all our skill and luck. You might think that this is for some epic rescue staff strat that needs 15 range, but actually it's because we want to get rid of Ellery's huge luck stack for one future map. She'll just have to manage with the likes of Tethius Tier and the Auto Grip. Though as you'll see, part 3 maps are not very long, so Ellery won't be stress tested as much. The guy on the right would have let Ellery cap out her skill, lance, or staff ranks, or unlock access to anima or light magic, but we don't need any of those buffs. Down in this basement, for the price of a key and a rescue staff use, we can retrieve a second copy of the Zahn. We don't need it, but the fact that I get it in this run should tell you something about the relative value of movement staff uses.